Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today, we got Brandon.
Hello.
We're here talking about games and things.
Games and things.
All right. What's on the agenda today? Borderlands?
Borderlands 4 some more.
Yeah. And
and then we got some other random news shit, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I forgot to write it down. But there's a lot.
Right. Oh, you have a lot of news?
There's a lot of little things, and I just told you about the thing we were talking about, but also like prices went up massively and a bunch of other stuff happened. Yeah. You know, we'll talk about that.
There's a big-ish news story that's I don't know. It doesn't seem to be getting a lot of traction. We've not talked about it. But maybe we should.
Okay, we'll get around to that because I actually have some interesting things to talk about for news.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
Okay.
We led with Borderlands 4 last week. I did, and it's surprising because it's still the same thing I was playing last week, and just lots and lots of more of it. So I'll start with what I was playing because
go for it.
It's still topical too. I honestly cannot stop fucking playing Donkey Kong Bonanza Emerald Rush. I have been fucking obsessed with it. I've put like hours and hours and hours into that mode probably since last week even.
I probably would too if I could stomach buying it, but just I don't know, man.
No, it's fair, and it is what it is. But like the more that I play, there's so many like different like layers of the depth to it that keep on like unlocking as I go, and that's pretty rad. And it's also because of it, it's also kind of driving me to go back through and kind of catch up on some of the like completionist stuff that I did not do the last time. Because I didn't go through and get like a lot of the bananas. I just kind of got to the end of the game and was like, I'm good and done, and that kind of there. But the thing with Emerald Rush is there definitely is an advantage to kind of going through and really exploring the levels and getting familiar with them. Which one thing, going through and getting the bananas and kind of knowing where kind of, the different features of the different levels is helpful in that way too. But you get benefits from doing things like unlocking the different checkpoints or, doing some of the building kind of things that are there, like, like the extra barrels or the zip lines and things like that they can kind of build, or the different like pathways. So just by having those can be kind of advantageous because they can help you move around the levels a lot better than maybe if you did not have them. Like I had started with like the canyon level, which was one of the earlier unlock stages, and I really didn't spend a lot of time with that. And so like one of the objectives that showed up was on one of the islands that I just did not have easy access to, and I was like, well, that's a problem. So you get things like that. But as I've kind of played through more of this, so kind of the way that the DLC kind of progression works is you start out initially Emerald Rush is only available on DK Island. And then once you play it a couple times, it opens up to I think like 6 more levels. And then once you play a bit more of it, it goes up to I think like 6 more levels on top of that. So there's a pretty almost every level that's not a transition level has access to the mode, which is pretty cool. And it definitely, your strategy and kind of the stuff that you unlock varies quite a bit. Well, not varies, varies in usefulness depending on what level you're in. For example, like when I'm playing DK Island, I usually don't go with like a lot of the Bonanza transformations because you have to unlock those to be able to access them in the mode. So when they're there, it's not usually like a priority for me to get them because I'm like, I really don't need it. I can traverse around a bit. I don't see too much advantage to, going to get them. So I'm like, I'll just leave them. But then I was playing on what's the stage called? It's the one with like the hotel with all the ostriches and like all the thorns and the poison water and stuff. You know which stage I'm talking about in Donkey Kong?
Yes, I know the stage. I don't know what the fuck the name of any of the stages in Donkey Kong
Neither do I. It's something like forest
I just
or something.
know like Bramble something, maybe? That sounds right.
Yeah. Sounds like a Donkey Kong name. Ramble something.
Bramble something.
But in that one,
that was the one with the hotel, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember the level.
Yeah. So like in that level, having the ostrich transformation is super useful because you use it to take advantage of like the flying gust, to get over the thorns and things like that.
There's like air vents that you can use to like, not air vents, exactly. Air, whatever the fuck they are. Geysers.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And then actually another example, another one too, like the resort levels got a lot of water in it. So over that stage, I'm like, oh yeah, zebra transformation is super useful because instead of having to walk to or swim to all these places, I can just fucking run over the water. And so that kind of changes the strategy. Like when I'm playing on DK Island, I might go with one of the, because as you go through, you unlock new kind of perks that can be rewards as you play.
Okay.
And like, so one of those is kind of like, hey, you get extra emeralds depending on how many Bonanza transformations you have. So like on those stages where I'm going to get them, like, oh, I might go out of my way to get more Bonanza transformations. On the other one though, there's actually a skill you can unlock that like extra emeralds for not having any transformations unlocked at all. So it's like, okay, well now I'm going to actively avoid those and I'm going to keep this skill and then do that. And then as you progress too, another thing that I unlocked was the ability to kind of like block different skills from kind of coming up in that random pool every time that they offer you a new skill. So I'll be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to do bonanzas in this one, so I'm going to block all the zebra transformation skills that like come up and kind of go on that route. But it's really interesting. Like there's so many different levels to it. It's in terms of roguelikes I've played, there's a lot more variety and nuance to this than I expected there to be, especially initially. This is a much deeper DLC than I expected it to be. Even initially too, it's kind of misleading. And I've even seen people online say this. They're like, "Oh, it's only available for like 5 stages." No, it's available for like the whole game. It makes you work for it and unlock stuff as you go through. And then even when you initially started, it makes it look like the max perks end at like 2,000 points, but it actually ends at something like 10,000 points. And it keeps on getting you like new unlocks, new stages, new costumes, and things like that. So there's quite a bit to do there. And I just keep on finding myself playing more. And then, like I said, I got to one point where I'm like, well, I want to do more of these stages, but I'm like, I really want, kind of more unlocked and more familiarity with it. So I've been kind of going through and just kind of gradually collecting bananas on the stages and, unlocking all the stuff that's been there with that. So that's even been just kind of making me enjoy Donkey Kong Bonanza even a bit more than I had, after I put it down like a month or two ago. So that's all been really, really fun. That's kind of what I've been spending a lot of time with. Another kind of thing with that to some degree, and I don't have as much to talk about this yet, but it obviously will be something that will be kind of come up on the podcast probably more topically in the next, and just in the future in general. I got a new TV yesterday, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we got it. Well, it's like new to us, hand me down. Parent-in-laws got rid of their old 4K TV, so now we have a 70-inch 4K TV. So,
okay.
So like a huge upgrade from what we had. Although I tried it with Donkey Kong, which looked nice.
Yeah.
Although I think that there might still need to be some color balancing. It feels really bright to me, but I just don't know if it's just me or if it's just what it is.
I don't know if you know how to like do some of the color balancing stuff, but there's a site called what is it called?
RT. Oh, that's an interesting website name.
No, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Ooh, wow. Let me see if I can find this. Rtings. Rtings is the name of the site. RTINGS. And on here, you'll find everything from like TVs to monitors to this, that, and the other, that sort of deal. Cameras, all this other stuff. It's basically reviews, but it'll also give you like technical details of how to like balance it and what you need to set things to get a better color gradient and get everything more in line with how it should look. They do reviews specifically on like the technicalities and all the mumbo jumbo bullshit that fucking several people will hyper fixate on. So like they're very good. They're very, very good at what they do. And they also have like recommendations. So if you ever need some form of technology in the future, say you go to buy another TV, they have recommendations for TVs that are like best smart TVs, best OLEDs, best TVs that are between 70 to 80 inches, that sort of deal. And they'll have like budgets for each one, and they'll have like a high end, then like a middle tier, and then like the budget tier. Very, very good site. I use them all the time when I go to buy gaming monitors and stuff like that, because they do have like, as part of their review process, they'll review like the HDR and how things work with like video games or video editing or like photography and stuff like that. Super neat. Awesome site.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out because it does look pretty useful. I'm kind of browsing through it right now. Yeah, and that definitely should be helpful because I really don't know about setting it up, and that's kind of my thing. Even some of the things I was like, okay, well, some of this stuff is obvious and some of it's not, and obviously
exactly
not something I had to figure out too much. So I kind of we just literally got it hooked up yesterday, so I got maybe like 30 minutes on it. So I did not get a ton of time to kind of play around with it, just enough to kind of test it out and kind of see. One thing that I did notice though with Donkey Kong that I did not notice on my old TV is I almost instantly noticed frame rate issues again.
Okay, finally, you can tell I'm so happy. Yay! I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Thank God. Okay.
No, I mean, it kind of made me wonder. I'm like, I wonder if it's just because of the difference in TV quality, and maybe that's why. I don't know. I mean, it's not like my old TV was bad. I had a great picture, but it was not like 4K, and so I don't know if it was just kind of.
The thing I'm using for my Switch is a 4K monitor that I got for like $200. It was decent at the time. I know it's way out of date now, but like I notice a lot of imperfection in Switch 2 games because of said monitor. It's not like a big deal, but it is a 27-inch monitor, so I'm closer to it, so I could see all the little imperfections and that sort of thing. But I mostly game sitting at my desk, like the one I'm at right now, and I found it a lot easier to tell the problems with Switch games on that 4K monitor. It doesn't have VRR, and I don't think the Switch has VRR for TV games, so that's probably part of the reason as well.
Yeah.
While you're noticing it a lot.
Yeah, so I'll have to play a little bit more and kind of see if, a little bit more on that. And kind of see where that kind of thing sizes up. But overall, it looks nice so far. I did also try out, actually, like I thought Xbox is kind of when I tried out the Xbox with it, it was pretty helpful because it was like, hey, here's the features of your TV. Here's what the Xbox can do. Here's what your TV does not support that the Xbox can do. And here's
that's such a cool thing. Yeah, I have that. That's such like gives you lots of information on what your TV can and can't do. It's awesome.
Yeah, so like with mine, it's like, hey, yours is at 60 hertz, so you can do this stuff, but you can't do the 120 hertz stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Did not know, but they're like, hey, maybe you want to set up Dolby Vision. That might help. And I was like, okay, that sounds very helpful. So I set that up, and then I was like, all right, now I'm like, let me get my retribution going. I'm like, let me boot up Dead Space and see if what you guys were saying about it before holds true. Honestly, I really don't notice a difference, like significant difference between the two. I mean, it still looks nicer, but that's not like mind blowing.
You're used to it, obviously. So like, I feel like it's gonna be a thing that over time, if you were to look at like an old 1080p TV after this, you'll be like, what the fuck was I doing?
I know. That's probably how it will be. But it looks nice. So at least for that, I got that going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was.
You have your HDR and everything like dialed in, or not yet?
I mean, like HDR was set up on like say like the Switch 2, and it's set up on the like Xbox and stuff. But I still think there needs to be some tweaking on it. Okay. Like the Xbox looks pretty good color wise, I would say, with Dead Space at least. But it's a bit of a darker game. Like I said, Donkey Kong looked good, but it looked maybe too bright.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but the Switch's HDR is actually blown out on a lot of TVs. There's a very specific way you have to set up HDR in the Switch because Nintendo is dog shit at technology. That's the easiest way to explain it. But I saw a video, and if I can find it again, I'll get it for you. There's a guy who does like TV reviews and stuff. And he was like, it's going to tell you to put it at this. You want to go to this. And you also want to have this setting enabled on your TV, which most TVs do have. And I got to find what it was because it made HDR on my Switch 2 look a million times better. It was so much better. It was like a night and day difference.
I knew to switch it to game. I knew to switch the TV to game mode because I know that's a big thing and that makes a big difference. And that helped dial the colors a bit more appropriate. No, you can finish what you're saying.
Game mode actually takes off a lot of the post-processing features that a lot of TVs run an image through. And those post-processing features that your TV's image are being ran through causes a lot of input lag and latency from the button presses to what's actually going on your TV. Game mode's more of fixing that and also correcting the image in the process to be like more accurate. But there is another setting that you need to enable to actually get like the HDR working correctly.
Okay,
basically.
Good to know. Yeah, I'll have to do some more research, but if you find it, definitely let me know.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Yeah, that would be kind of my project over the, I don't know, the next, who knows, weeks, whatever. So that kind of side of things. Yeah, so we will see. But yeah, that's I've really only, like I said, only maybe got 30 minutes to play for it, but I thought it was pretty exciting. So we'll see. And like I said, it's like a significant upgrade size wise from my old TV. It's like, I think we went from like 60 to 70 inch, so it's like huge. Like, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. Otherwise, I mean, that's really all I've been playing. The only other thing I kind of thought about, and it kind of relates back to news last week, because I was thinking about this. I think, I don't know, today, last night, I don't remember. But I was thinking about like Mario Galaxy and the pricing with that. And I realized that this is going to sound really dumb, but it's very Nintendo. Kind of two things. A, so assuming I buy Mario Galaxy 2-pack when it comes out next week or whatever, I realized that this will be the fourth re-release that I bought from Nintendo this year. And actually, baby,
I want to be mad at you, but I can't because do you? But
I know.
Damn it,
I like
man.
to double dip, and I like I like the ability to have everything kind of just accessible at all the time. Which is kind of one thing I like about the Switch, and that's why I also buy like a lot of old shit too. That's like, from like GameCube and like that era and stuff too. I'm just gonna be like, hey, these are my favorite games. I just like having them accessible anytime where I'm going.
Yeah.
But I realized that like Nintendo's actually had some pretty egregious, like much more egregious re-releases in the last year. That we like didn't even really think about when we were thinking about pricing. I think the most egregious one came out in January of this year, which was Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Oh yeah, what the fuck?
Mess. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm like $40 for Mario Galaxy 2 versus say like $60 for Donkey Kong Country HD, where they really didn't upgrade anything except the resolution and somehow made the game shittier because they fucked up the multiplayer.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm like, that's a pretty egregious one. Xenoblade Chronicles X was also re-released this year. That one, I would say that actually was a pretty good re-release because they added new content. And
I was gonna also say, from everything I've seen with that re-release and Xenoblade just in general, people that like Xenoblade get really they get a really good game. They get a really good quality game if you're a big Xenoblade fan. That's where I stand on that. I cannot hate the Xenoblade franchise or say ill of it because everything I've seen from those developers, they have poured their heart and soul into making that game run as best as it possibly fucking can on the Switch and now on the Switch 2. And there has been still in the Xenoblade Chronicles X re-release, they did find, at least the people that ripped it onto the internet, that it does have a 60 FPS patch inside of that game. It just hasn't been enabled yet.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they probably will do like Xenoblade. I think Xenoblade 2 definitely needs a good patch. I think they're just kind of waiting to space things out. And Monolith is literally like the Switch wizards, because a lot of their tech is responsible for like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and some of those like bigger scope games. Usually if there's an issue, like those are the ones that they call. They're like, hey, things aren't working. Get over here and help us fix this. And they're like,
I mean, to be fair, Tears of the Kingdom is not a good example. I think Monolith's Xenoblade is a very good example of, doing a lot with very little. I think Tears of the Kingdom's a bad example because it quite literally would have very, very bad performance issues on the original Switch. That's just my opinion, and I know.
Yeah, but imagine how it would be without their help.
But yeah, that's actually crazy now that you mention it. Jesus Christ. It'd probably run like Pokemon, wouldn't it?
Probably. Yeah.
Oh God.
everyone's like running 2 frames per second until you get like within 5 feet of them.
Oh
yeah,
no.
so is that one. But no, that's a pretty solid port, I would say, and they added a lot of good content. Although, if we talk about story stuff this year, the fucking epilogue chapter that they added on that game, is so nonsense. I just still don't understand it. It's just kind of one of the most wild right turns I think I've ever seen in a story ever. And that's coming off of the original game's like ridiculous cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And the story that they added on had nothing to do with it, which is even the weirder part. So there's that. And then the other remake that I bought, which actually came out last year, but I didn't buy it until this year when it was on sale, was Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which also
Okay.
was a really shitty port. Because I think that game was also $60, and I was like, this is not a $60 game. Because it was a 3DS game that's really all they did was just uprest it and really didn't do much else with it work wise. And I was like, that's also not a great game that was sold at a much higher price. So I was like, Nintendo probably looking at Galaxy and they're like, I don't know why people are getting upset because it's a screaming deal. Yeah, a screaming deal from their usual pricing, but not from probably what people's expectations are. So yeah, so that's that. Also, I guess just PSA for listeners. If you're looking for Amiibo, GameStop has like almost all of them on sale right now. So if you wanted one, it's a good time to get it because they're like sub tariff pricing at the moment. So there's that. Anything else? I think it's all I think it's my word vomit. That's all I got.
Okay.
Want to know about Borderlands? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's talk about Borderlands 4. So I finished it.
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah. But I've got an interesting story about that.
Okay.
As you may know, I had mentioned before that I was playing my friend's copy when he wasn't online. That's how I was playing it. I mentioned this last week. I did not buy the game. I decided to jump in with my other 2 friends that were playing, and basically towards the end of the game, so I just went through the end of the game with them. I was only a few missions away myself, like maybe an hour or 2, but I just decided to finish the game with them because I wanted to play it with my friends. And, the story of Borderlands doesn't really matter to me that much. I just like looting and shooting because that's kind of what Borderlands is. I will say, the story of Borderlands 4 is actually quite good. Like, very good, now that I've gone through the entire thing. And I like it a lot, and it's really, really fun. It's a really well-told and done story that brings a lot of stuff back from old Borderlands games, which is great.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, I'll also say that it was the final night. We were standing outside the lair of the final boss of the game because we had to stop the night before because we played for like 6 fucking hours basically, which was a lot. And
that's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm sitting there and I'm playing and I'm getting ready and we're about to go play, and then my buddy comes on who hasn't been on in weeks, who ended up buying this, and he's like, hey man, can you get to a save point? I'd like to get my copy back and play it. And I'm like,
oh,
okay. So I'm like, all right, fine. So I then tell my other 2 friends after he leaves, I'm like, hey, I won't be playing and finishing the game with you guys tonight because I don't have a copy, and GP just took his back. So there's that. I close out my game, and I've been sent a gift copy of the game by my other friend. So then I have Borderlands 4. So then now I own Borderlands 4, and I start playing it, and I end up finishing the final boss with my buddies, and it was really good. It was very fun, and since then we've been like grinding out to get the extra like higher ranked levels because there's specific things you have to do to. It's kind of like Diablo, where like you can go to like Torment 2, 3, 4, 5, that sort of deal. And we've been grinding out to get to the higher ranks of the game, which makes the game world way harder. And that's what I've been doing. And it's been really, really enjoyable, and it's been really fun to like make a character class. And it's been really fun to like grind out the weapons and stuff because a lot of the bosses drop very specific weapons, and it's super. It's just been a blast. Like legitimately, Borderlands 4 has been the most fun I've had playing a game this year so far of a game that's released. It's awesome. I really liked it. So I'm still playing it. I'm probably going to play it after this, to be completely honest, because I'm still grinding out like the higher levels, trying to get to max level, because I'm like one level away from max. So I'm doing that right now, and then going to go around and get the max level weapons for my character class and yada yada yada. You understand what I'm saying. But anyway, moving on from that, I also on a whim bought another game that's called Don't Die, Collect Loot. It is a little indie title that is a mix between a bullet hell and an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
It is super interesting. It gives me a lot, and I mean a lot of like Vampire Survivor vibes. And I'll share it with you so you can actually see what it kind of looks like in general. But essentially, the way it works is you go into like your character is dead, but they make copies of themselves in different dimensions or some shit. Uh-huh. It's very weird, but just know the like main point of the game is to make the most broken builds as humanly possible and do as much damage as you possibly can with your characters. And it's really fun to do this. Like, it's really fun. They've got all these like elements where you can like change what's your character attack is or what their attacks like cause to happen alongside them. So like if you do this certain attack, then it also can trigger this one and this one and this one and so on and so forth. And it's like a very easy to pick up and get into game, which doesn't take a lot of time to like play a run. But you can get like super sucked into it again, much like Vampire Survivors. And it's really fun. This kind of came literally out of nowhere, and I put a few hours into it, but it's awesome. So this is probably an indie game that will end up on some consoles in the future. But like if you look at like the corners and the pictures, it like literally gives you all the stats that you're maxing and the buffs that you have and the upgrades and how much money, and the actual gameplay is right in the center of the screen, but then you have all the charts and the graphs and all that information that's on the left and right side of the screen. So it kind of looks like it would be like a mobile game, but because it's just like an up and down vertical thing like you would have any kind of bullet hell shooter. But it's fun. It's really fun. And it's not that much. I think it's like $10, and you get a lot of game out of it.
Yeah,
it's in early access. It's in early access currently. But there's so much content there. Some people have played like 65 plus fucking hours of just the demo that came out before the game was even released. So there's a lot. There's a lot. Yeah. This is the kind of game where eventually you'll be doing damage in like the hundreds of millions. The whole point is to make as broken a character as humanly possible, and then go as far as you can with it. And it's just a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, it looks like it should be a blast.
Yeah, it definitely is. Other than that, I don't think I played anything else. Because like I said, I put like 40 plus hours into Borderlands, so most of my time was spent in that.
Seems pretty reasonable. All right. You said you got lots of news.
Yes. So, first of all, you were mentioning tariff prices earlier, but we got a lot of different things tariff-wise that was changed, specifically about the Xbox right now.
Yeah, Xbox announced a price up again. That's the second one this year.
So, but it's like a pretty big jump. Like, we got like Series S's now going for $400, which is insane. And what, $450? Jesus. And then the Series X is $600.
Yeah.
And up to $800. That's insanity. Those prices are crazy.
Yeah, I saw someone comment, and it's so true, but they're like, this is literally the first generation we're waiting for.
A price
for
drop.
Not being an initial buyer, like actually it works against you. Yeah, like you'll end up paying more the longer you wait, as opposed to how it usually is, where you can expect like a price drop.
Yep.
Yeah, it's wild. Like I think what the Xbox has gone up probably like at least $100, I think, since.
Yeah, 150, right?
Let me see. So let's see. So the price at launch for the Series X was $499.
Yeah, and it's almost it's like $700.
Yeah, and the Series S $299.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And that's $400. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
And where are we? Like, where are the current prices? I know they're on the thing. So and then the so now the Series S is $400. So that's gone up $400. A full $100.
Yeah, okay.
And the Series X is up to $650.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's $150 more. That's crazy. Actually, I think that I think the Series X price now is very close to what I paid when I got it with the 2 years of Game Pass built in. Like, it's wild. Like, that's pretty nuts.
It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, you have Sony's trying to do like the shrinkflation kind of thing where they're like, to avoid a price change, they're just like, well, we're just going to change the hard drive size and hope no one notices. Because I saw they just dropped the price or the hard drive size of their.
Yeah, but they increased the price too, didn't they?
I think they did at one point. I think
it went up by like 100, right? Or was it 50? I don't remember which one.
Let me see.
Let me see. I'll just type in PS5 price increase. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it says it went up about $50.
Yeah, $50. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it says because it says it's now $550 up from $499. Wild.
Yep. This is the only generation where the consoles went up in price.
Yeah.
It's actually insane.
I was thinking about it even last night too, because I was like, you know what? As dumb as I felt for buying all those accessories at launch for the Switch 2, probably actually saved me a ton of money in the long run. Because I got in a lot of those accessories before even the price increases for those, because I think all of them went up like $10, $10 to $20 a piece too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just nuts. And the thing is that those tariffs go away. It's not like they're gonna be like, here's a refund, customers. Maybe the prices will go down eventually, but that's lost money basically. So that sucks. Gaming's getting expensive.
Yeah, gaming's just being priced out.
Yeah.
Entertainment's being priced out.
Yeah.
So, moving on from that, we'll move over to some crazy shit. I'm not gonna tell you, but I want you to guess. It'll be fun. All right. So, Silent Hill released yesterday. Silent Hill F did. If you buy the special $80 edition, otherwise it releases on Thursday. Okay. How much do you think the resolution of the game is in 4K upscale? So like the resolution it's upscaling from. And it upscales from this resolution to give you 30 FPS in upscaled 4K.
Oh, I have no clue.
So that's what you would think, right?
Yeah.
It's 720p.
Okay, that would have been my second guess. Just
so 720p upscales to 4K. In performance mode, PS5, it upscales to 1800p at 60 FPS. So there is a 60 FPS mode. It works, but it upscales from 360p. We are in a generation of gaming where also they literally cannot do resolutions that we had last generation in games. They're doing resolutions from 2 generations ago and then upscaling them to the current resolution, which is just insane to me. That is how bad the optimization is for the current consoles. So on top of paying, $800 or $700 for a console, you're also getting very, very poor quality. Like, it's just as simple as that. You're getting very poor quality for that price.
Yeah.
And it's kind of insane.
Yeah. No, they really need to focus on what they have available and not try to overdo it. Like I always say, you got to build the game for the system and fine tune it for the system.
This is another case of an Unreal Engine 5 game. And every game seems to be Unreal Engine 5, so,
Yeah. Speaking of Borderlands 4 just got indefinitely postponed for the Switch 2.
Yes, I was going to mention that. That was one of the other pieces of news I was going to have. I just saw that the Switch 2 version is now delayed until further notice.
Yeah. So, Randy Pitchford can't use his magic on that one, can he?
He also, they stated that they hope to align the release of the Switch 2 versions when they release the cross-save update. There has been no announcement of them ever doing a cross-save update until just now. So this leads me to think this isn't happening until the DLC comes out sometime next year. And the Switch 2 version of Borderlands 4 was supposed to release in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Surprise, not coming out. At least they did the right thing and refunded people. I guess they had pre-ordered it or whatever, but
yeah.
Still, you probably knew more than today that it was not going to happen. Yeah, and it seemed pretty unrealistic based on the performance on the other systems. I can only imagine what it would be like on the Switch too.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is a bummer because it sounds like it's a good game, but at the same time, yeah, it sounds like they really need to figure out what the fuck they're doing performance-wise first, then worry about getting it on the Switch too. So, yay, Unreal Engine.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So there was another piece of news that I wanted to talk about, and this one's pretty egregious.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna save it for last, I think, because I want to talk about the Kojima E3 conference that he basically had for his own company. It was an anniversary conference for Kojima's company, and they announced a animated Death Stranding movie called Death Stranding Mosquito.
Okay.
They announced they showed off a new trailer for OD, which is now called OD Knock. And it looked incredible. Crazy good. And then he announced 2 things which made me laugh, which had nothing to do with video games whatsoever. But he announced his own sake, and he announced his own credit card.
Okay, very random.
Very, very Kojima, basically.
Yeah.
It was a neat little thing. I only watched a bit of it, but it was cool. It was cool. So I liked it. I just wanted to talk about that. Moving on from that, I want to talk about Pal World, which announced a new game called Pal World Pal Farm, which looks like Stardew Valley, or something like Dragon Quest Builders, which means why I'm about to get at. It looks like that new Pokemon game that was just announced, but it's being made by the Pal World devs.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That is kind of funny. Is it the same thing as Pal World? Is it same universe kind of thing, or is it a different
literally
game?
Called Pal World Pal Farm. It's a new game, but it plays more like Rune Factory or Animal Crossing or like Stardew Valley than it does Pal World. But it's in the Pal World universe. They put out a trailer for it literally yesterday. I'll share that with you, the webpage also. And it quite literally looks like a combination of all those games I just listed. It's very different from the normal Pal World game, but it's in the same universe.
Well, the font reminds me of Animal Crossing.
Yep, sure does. It looks really well made, to be honest. Like
yeah,
really
I like
well
the art
made.
style. These are very Pokemon-looking Pokemon, though.
Huh?
So these are very Pokemon-looking Pokemon, though.
Aren't or are?
Are.
Ah, did you get to the blacksmith who has a revolver that he puts to his head and is going to blow out his brains? Because I remember that Pokemon in Pokemon.
No, I didn't. I saw the one blacksmith that looked like Lucario.
No. 1 minute and 9 seconds. This is the
yep, I just got to it here.
Bro, just going to blow his brains out.
Yep, there's that part. I don't know why they let a tree fall on a penguin, though. That's kind of nasty.
You can be mean to pals in Pal World. It's kind of encouraged. Probably shouldn't, but anyway, yeah, so this looks cool. I thought this looked really neat.
Looks nice.
And it was announced, I think, yesterday. So there's that.
Okay.
Next, I want to talk about something bad that happened. Really bad. And we have to talk about Steam in order to talk about this.
All right.
So, on Steam, there was a game that was put out on August 2025 It's a very unassuming game called Blockbusters. No, Block Blasters, not Busters. Sorry, Block Blasters.
Okay.
Is a kind of shovelware indie title you can download and play. It got an update a few weeks ago, and it caused us to know a lot of things about Steam that is very problematic.
Okay.
Such as the fact that they check the initial submission of games, not the updates.
Okay.
So they have a team that looks over the content of your game when you first put it out, but then after that, for all your updates, they don't look over them. Unlike, PlayStation or Nintendo, which takes time to get back to you about updates being processed and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. You know how that works. They might have to start doing that, because the update to this little unassuming indie title that came out a few weeks ago had a keylogger inside of it that stole 900 people's crypto wallets, including a very well-known man who streamed games to pay for his stage 4 cancer treatment.
Oh, okay. That's fucked up.
They stole all of his money, which I think was $150K at the time that he had raised over the months and months that he's been doing what he's been doing. Yeah. And it was very, very bad. Essentially, the community came together to figure out who made this game, who they are, why they did it, which the reason they did it was they wanted money, obviously, but how they did it and all this other stuff as well. And found out that essentially because of Steam not checking the update that they put out, when that update came out a few weeks ago, it installed a backdoor into everyone's computer that had the game installed that allowed them to take people's personal information, including crypto wallets and other information that would give them money.
That's a big issue.
And they fucked with the wrong person, because since it was a person that lost all their money that was, doing the stage 4 cancer thing and was a decently known streamer in the community, people were able to find very quickly who did this and a bunch of information on them, and also get the game taken down, which also has brought Steam under a bit of hot water, because they need to do more due diligence so this sort of thing can never happen again, essentially, is where we got to. This has never happened before in all of the years of Steam existing, or never that we know of.
Yeah, never that you know of. But I mean, that's the thing, it's a lot different from the, the Wild West days of the internet. One of the advantages to Steam people always kind of expected was like, oh, I'm buying it from a reputable source. I don't have to worry about spyware. I don't have to worry about adware. And so the fact that something like that was able to slip through is like
very bad. That's not
problematic.
Yeah, it's very problematic. So I just wanted to share that story. Luckily, the guy did get enough money redonated to him to help, replace the money that he did have taken from him. But there's like 907 other people who also had their shit stolen. And someone was very clearly going around to people's streams and recommending them play this game. So there was a team of people that worked on this game and worked out this horrible fucking plan to steal people's money by making this game. Because there were people just going into streams and people were like, hey, I want to play a new game. What should I play? And they would recommend this game, which would then proceed to rob the people blind that played it.
Yeah,
that's just crazy that someone would do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that story was pretty wild, and I thought I would share it because it's gonna have to cause Steam to have some other form of checks now whenever that happens. So,
well, and actually, that story kind of tangentially is related, not quite, but at least it has to do with Steam and some of their processes. To the story that I was like, hey, there's kind of a big Steam story that we've somehow not talked about.
Oh, please do share.
That's been going on for the last couple months, and actually, I'm surprised that you've not, because it's it falls into two things that you love: Steam and censorship.
The credit card thing. Is that what we're talking about? Yes, exactly. Yes. Okay.
I'm surprised that this has not come up with us yet. and I keep on seeing stories about it.
I think
I've
mm-hmm. like tangentially, I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. I've kind
mm-hmm.
of like alluded to it and mentioned it in the past, but not ever gone into it as a news story. Part of the reason I've never gone into it as a news story is because sadly, a lot of the worst people possible are the ones covering it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to be able to talk about it, I would have to go into a lot of things that they discovered, but also those people are massive grifters, so there's a lot of false information out there as well. It's kind of difficult to traverse through the actual things that are going on and the false information because people want clicks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a definite subsection of people, and I don't want to get my information wrong about this, but I do know there's a lot that has been going on with like Visa, and I think it's MasterCard specifically, and PayPal, who have essentially not only with Steam, but with all forms of anything adult entertainment wise, or could be adult entertainment, have cracked down on the purchasing of items using their currency like transfer methods. So PayPal's done that with a lot of sites. One in particular is a site that's known for visual novels, and if you know anything about visual novels, a lot of them have porn elements in them. Many of them do, that sort of deal. Some don't, obviously. Not all of them do, but a lot do. A lot of the very well-known ones do, including stuff like Fate Stay Night and that entire like Fate series. It started as like a hentai basically, but a place that would sell those visual novels got taken down completely from like Visa and MasterCard, where they will not allow them to go through. They also attacked itch.io, which is very well known for selling those sort of dubious games as well, so to speak. And I think itch.io actually got that reversed after some form of boycott. I don't know all the details, and that's part of the reason I don't really want to talk about this. I do want to mention it, but I don't know all the details, and I don't know enough to know what is correct and what isn't. So I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't think we
have to go into the specifics, but
yeah, but a lot of companies are being attacked by MasterCard and PayPal and the like, and they're going after a lot of things that
basically using like a morality clause in the contract.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and basically being like this and that. Actually, and I think the reason I
it's a bunch of bullshit. Like, for lack of a better word, it is a bunch of bullshit. It's very unfair. It's very shittily done what they are doing, and they're kind of using it to like grandstand when they actually don't care, and they just want to grandstand and try to enforce their rules essentially, and it's really shitty. But they did, but several of them did notice they lost a lot of business and reversed some of those decisions, but not
I think the one that I noticed most recently, I don't remember the game, but basically like they were denying payments for early access games because they're like, things could change. Like there could be inappropriate content later, so we're not going to...
I did not see that. That's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah. So I guess that's an issue where they were kind of denying payments until the final release. Was kind of their stance on that one. But I think it's just really... I think it's an interesting topic that people should be aware of because it's censorship by a third party that's kind of intervening between you and the
your
seller.
Right to purchase anything. Yeah, like they're deciding what you can and cannot purchase, and that's
exactly
unacceptable. Like you don't even get to make that choice on your own. Like it's not a case of like, oh, I don't want this, or like this is like heinous and we shouldn't have it, and we as a group of people have made this decision. It's a government organization essentially that is making this decision for you. It's
not even a government organization, just a capitalist organization.
A capitalist organization. That's what I was trying to get at. My bad. I said that incorrectly. Yes, it's a capitalist organization that's making that decision for you before you can make it for yourself. And that really fucking sucks.
Like because we do not want you to spend your money on this, so we will not let you.
And with a lot of things like that, it's a very slippery slope. Like, it could lead to anything, It could lead to a point where they're like, yeah, we're not going to allow you to buy fucking GTA 6, for instance.
Yeah,
because exactly. there's shit like that in GTA 6. It's been in all the other GTA games,
Yeah.
So,
and it's not a far reach for them to be like, oh, we're not going to do it on Nintendo, we're not going to do it on Sony, we're not going to do it on Xbox. They're using Steam, I think, now because it's an easier kind of group to
Steam
pick on.
allows a lot more freedom to developers, for better and for worse, as we just spoke. But because of that freedom that they allow, it makes it so there's a lot of chances for bad actors, and those bad actors allow this capitalist organization to swoop in and be like, oh, look at those bad actors, because of them you should be able to buy anything on here, and that's really fucking stupid.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. So, and I think this is one of the most egregious kind of examples of censorship that we've kind of ever talked about on the podcast, honestly.
Absolutely.
Because it's one thing for a platform holder to be like, hey, I don't really like this content, will you edit it or make it more appropriate for this audience,
such as what has happened with Nintendo with some releases, or Sony with some releases, or what have you. And some of those people have like some of those people have like in the future they revert those changes and everything. But this is a company that's not even allowing them to make changes. It's literally just saying you're not allowed to buy this thing.
Yep, we don't like the content of the game, we've not played it, we don't like it though. And we're not going to let you buy it unless it's meets our standards, which is
it's 1990s all over again. We got to find something else to blame for our own problems, basically. That's where we're at right now.
Actually, one more Steam fuck up story that I saw this week, which I thought was interesting. Did you see the one about the wishlist game?
Which one?
Let me see if I can find the news story again, because I don't remember exactly what it is.
Because there have been some interesting Steam stories I've never shared, like the paint drying simulator story, where someone was able to hack the Steam INI and put a fake game into Steam and allow them to get a bunch of wish lists and stuff and eyes on a game that never existed. That happened several years back. I want to say 2018, but those are few and far between. But I feel like there's a lot more coming about now. So yeah. And then we also had recently where the government wanted to call up Steam and Discord and Reddit and what was the fourth one?
Yeah, so okay, I found the news story. So the game's called Planet Centauri. Did you see this news story?
I've heard this name, but I don't know what the story is. Please do go on.
So apparently, the game had been early access for a while. They had wish list 138,000, potential customers. So in December, finally came out of early access, launching on Steam for, it says $15 here. And they're like, we weren't expecting wild numbers or anything. But they weren't expecting, this is the quote from the article, Devs weren't expecting wild numbers or anything, but they certainly weren't expecting to only move 581 units in a week. So for a game coming out of early access that's on 138,000 people's wish list, that does seem kind of suspicious. Well, apparently, it wasn't until this month that they realized why that happened, and apparently Steam just forgot to, there was a bug. And they forgot to notify the people on the wish list that the game came out.
The game released? Oh my goodness.
So the game released, 9-10 months ago, and now they're releasing. And you know how it is with games. At this point, that game's basically
this game's been in early access since 2016.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. This is actually nuts.
So finally came out, and then they're just like, oh yeah, no. So it never notified the people that are actually interested on it that was available in the sales. So it never, and it puts in here, without those kind of initial sales, it never met, never hit the tabs like new and trending, best sellers, none of the places. So basically DOA, when it came out. So, and Steam just kind of recognized it, and I guess they offered them kind of, to be on the daily deals. for a little bit and kind of see how that goes.
So I do have some information here that I'd like to read from one of the reviews. It says 9 years in early access and the launch day reviews are barely more than 50% positive. Please let that sink in. A single email from Steam is not the reason why the launch of this game flopped. It's because the developers released a half-baked 1.0 that still needed years at their former pace of development, and then they completely dropped support for it entirely after releasing their 1.0 update to chase a completely different project for more money. The game is okay. It has some promise, but not with its current 1.0 quality, and the fact that they wanted to be done by the end of 2024 because they've ran out of money, and all signs point to this. This game is full of jank, and the developers have not released an update since December 2024 when they launched the game into 1.0. I'll update my review if they ever actually make any changes. So, it looks like what actually happened is this game did release out of early access, but even before it released out of early access, it was out of early access in 1.0. But they then completely abandoned the game. So, that is very par for the course with developers that put out early access games. It's even happened to big name developers like Edmund McMillan. And if you know who that is, if you don't know who that is, do you know who that is?
No.
So that's the person that did Binding of Isaac.
Oh, okay.
They did Binding of Isaac, and they made another game which they never finished. And basically, then they release it out of early access, even though it had like game-breaking bugs, and it was never finished either. And that was called The Legend of Bumbo, and that game was pretty atrocious. And yeah, essentially, it happens all the time, and it's not just like, you know, smaller names that do it. It's also big people like what I mentioned just now. And ironically, you mentioned the early access and 1.0 releases, and Slime Rancher 2 released today.
Oh.
Which, if you've never played Slime Rancher was a very good game, and I've heard that Slime Rancher 2 is just a better version of a very good game. So.
Oh, that's good. And that is a good point, too, kind of what you were saying about the game. So, obviously, you know, if they, you know, kind of drop
developers
the ball on the
can say whatever they want to say, but a lot of the time we have developers that are those bad actors that I was mentioning before who actually are just making excuses for their poor quality or for their abandonment of their project. That was my main point I was trying to make, and I think it is
definitely good. I mean, I would say though, if they were kind of with the game being in access as long as it is, my guess is, you know, if they were being like honest, you know, in terms of kind of their approach with it, they probably were hoping like, hey, you know, we'll get this out of early access, we'll get some initial, you know, people in here, and then, you know, that will help us fund the game kind of moving forward and kind of help making changes. I imagine with like 500 sales or whatever, they were probably like, yeah, not worth it, we're done. Because they were even like, hey, it was just hardening. And
so
in this
the 500 sales out of early access, that could be true, right? But like their overall sales are more than 500. So like people bought that when it was in early access, you know?
Oh yeah.
So there's that. I'm gonna actually look up the Steam DB for this game because there's a way to check how many sales a game has had. So I'm gonna see how many sales they've actually had.
Yeah, and it does kind of sound like, you just from their comments, they were kind of like, we don't even know if we'd go back to this game. We're working on something else. You know, they're like, it kind of probably messed up our initial sales and kind of, you know, changed our trajectory. But like, we don't even know if it's kind of worth it to go back at this point because we started working on something else, and we're obligated to finish the game that we're working on now and not even go back to this other one. So, which is too bad, but. You know, like you said, there's two sides to every coin. So
yeah, exactly.
But just the fact that it's kind of interesting that, you know, kind of Steam did drop the ball on that.
They did apologize. That is a thing that actually happened. So
they did apologize, and they did, like I said, they did offer them the daily deal section, and that's kind of where they're like, we don't know if we're going to take it because, like I said, at least in the genuine kind of side of the developer. They're like, we don't know, you know, it might help with sales, but that's not necessarily going to bring us back to the game. So we don't know if it's worth it. So at least they weren't like, we'll do it. And then,
that kind of like mentality though tells me that they didn't care about their project to begin with. Because there's people that
the game in early access for 10 years though.
Yeah, but it seems like they started rushing it towards the end. Like, we don't really care anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
get
saying?
Something out the door. Yeah, I mean, you've been working on it for so long. Obviously, not been probably getting like worthwhile sales to continue.
Exactly.
Yeah. If anything, they got their feet wet for maybe something better. It looks. I mean, screenshot wise, it looks really interesting. But well, like art style wise, I guess is what I'm saying. But
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff going on Steam these days. It seems so. Yeah. Otherwise, that's all I got. I got nothing else.
I'm gonna look at something real quick because I'm curious.
Okay.
Is this it? Yes, I found it. Okay. I found what I was looking for. So let me see if I can search this game now. Oh, this is not it. Fuck you. I used to have a site that would give me the numbers and sales of Steam games.
Yeah.
Which was a really good site. And I do not remember the name of the site to save my fucking life. So I was trying to find it because I wanted to see how much they actually sold.
Mm-hmm.
So let's pause for a second while I try to find this real quick.
Okay.
Okay. I've got it. All right. So I've got information. They sold 98,000 copies. That would mean the game's gross revenue was at about 789K.
Okay.
So, and they had a total player amount of 105K over the amount of, days, years, months that this game has been released. This seems like they would have made a lot of money off of this. And this is one of those classic things of we just let everything get bloated, and then instead of releasing it out of early access when we should have, we released it way too late, and we just gave up on caring about this project. Mm-hmm. That's what this looks like to me, looking at all of this information here. It says the first day it was released was June 2nd, 2016. 1.0 release date was December 11th, 2024. And that they have sold almost 100K copies, basically. It says the estimation is between 70K and 126K, closer to 98K copies. So that would mean taking the 30% off of Steam, they probably made like 800K, which is a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
So this feels like they probably just kind of dropped the project because they had spent the money elsewhere and they wanted to move on. This feels like a developer that mismanaged their own funds and want to find a way to blame it on someone else. That's just where I'm coming from.
Yeah, especially because I think it was only like a 2-person crew or something. I think it was a small dev team.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, I don't know, man. This one's a weird one. It feels like there's more here. I mean, good on Steam for apologizing, because it is a mistake to not not send out the email and announce that, hey, this game has left early access. But I don't know how much that would have mattered to people either, because a lot of people just buy early access titles right now. I'm pretty sure one of the most, the highest selling games of this year on Steam is an early access title. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to actually look at the Steam charts for the top selling games. Top selling for the year. Oh, wait. Okay. I can't check 2020. Okay. Well, I can't check best of 2025. I can check the month or that sort of thing, but I can't check the whole overall. It doesn't look like live charts. It looks like that's just updating to. Yeah, I don't know how to do this. They fucking updated, and I don't know how to do this anymore.
Hey, that's fair.
But wait, no, there's a most played. There's a most played for. My point is, I'm trying to get to Schedule 1 is one of the most played games this year so far, and Schedule 1 quite literally is an early access. So I think it doesn't matter if you're an early access game or if you release out of early access in the current gaming landscape. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
there's a lot of games that people will just buy in early access and won't give a fuck about if it's released yet or not. And I know that for a fact from several of the ones that I've seen. So.
Oh yeah, makes sense. So, all right. Anything else you want to talk about today?
No, I think we're good.
All right, let's wrap up.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to us tonight. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. All of our old episodes are on game-crunch.com. If you want to send us email, gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon?
Yep.
Any final thoughts?
No. That's I'm done. I got nothing.
All right. Well, that said, my name is Mike Anastasia. Find me online on Clash of Penguin there, or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
In the land of Game Crunch, we take a stand. Golden coins and castles made of sand. Controllers in hand, we shout and cheer. The Switch 2 is here, let's make it clear. Game on, we're ready to play. Night turns to dawn, we'll seize the day. Every pixel shines, every sound's divine. Game on forever, the world is mine. The orchestra swells with strings so wild. Electric beats meet a classical child. Jumping through worlds with joy unbound. In Game Crunch we found our sound. Game on, we're ready to play. Night turns to dawn, we'll seize the day. Every pixel shines, every sound's divine. Game on forever, the world is mine. The orchestra swells with strings so wild. Electric beats meet a classical child. Jumping through worlds with joy unbound. In Game Crunch we found our sound. Game on, we're ready to play. Night turns to dawn, we'll seize the day. Every pixel shines, every sound's divine. Game on forever, the world is mine. Lightning fast we dash and soar. Through magic lands we crave for more. New horizons, every path unknown. With Switch 2 we've claimed the throne. Game on, we're ready to play. Night turns to dawn, we'll seize the day. Every pixel shines, every sound's divine. Game on forever, the world is mine.
You got anything else?
For this week?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing Silent Hill F on my anniversary on the 25th. My wedding anniversary is then. Katie wanted to play through that game.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So we're gonna do that. I'm looking into a lot of horror movies. Start getting like a list ready for this year. I don't really know what to do. I think we're gonna start with the Conjuring universe. Because they just had the last movie that came out, and I think around Halloween they're releasing it on streaming. So I think that could work really well. If you haven't seen, they announced that there is a new series called Welcome to Derry that's releasing on HBO Max on the 26th. It looks really fucking good. There's some true crime movies and TV shows coming out that are called The Real Life Friday the 13th and Elm Street Murders. Those look really good. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, it looks really neat. So, yeah, that's what I'm planning on right now. Oh, Hades 2 also comes out this week. Like 1.0 update of Hades 2 comes out on the 25th, I think, as well. So I'll probably end up playing through that now that it has an actual release. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and so does on the 26th. Are two games. There is Clover Pit, which is the one I told you about, where it's the slot machine roguelike, like Balatro, but as a slot machine game. That's on the 26th. And then also on the 26th is Hotel Barcelona, which is Swery 67 and Suda51's game that they made together. So a lot of things released this week. Like a lot of things released this week.
Yeah, this is a busy month, and it's busy kind of back half of this year.
Mm-hmm.
I guess back quarter even.
I mean, also next week is Ghost of Yotoi, so there's that too. It's like it just keeps going. From here on out, it just keeps going. It does not stop.
Yeah, pretty much until Metroid from December 4th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah.
Because you got Pokemon after Ghost of Yotoi. You got
Pokemon. Then it's I don't know, for me, Hyrule Warriors is 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
Still don't care about Kirby Air Riders.
I don't either. I decided it's not a $40, it's not a $50 game. It's not for me.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow.